Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Nicholas Porcelli. Welcome you to the last Tuesday show of the semester. So starting things off with a beautiful look at Doak Campbell Stadium. We got a really beautiful sunset today, mostly clear skies with temperature of 57. So temperature's starting to cool down just a little bit with a slight breeze from the west at 5 miles per hour. The rest of the Big Bend has a pretty similar story. Temperatures in the mid to lower 50s, a little bit warm in Mariana at 57 and Donaldsonville at 57 as well. Current dew points, you're going to be seeing these dew points drop as this front passes by in the next couple of days. Currently, dew points are in the mid-40s, so it's relatively dry for the time being. And as we can see in the local radar, not much of precipitation going on, and so expect to remain dry. As for today's headlines, this is the last Tuesday show of the semester. Today we'll be traveling to Shenandoah National Park, and we're also going to talk a little bit about the college football playoffs and what that means for FSU. All that and more on FSU Weather.
Yeah, thank you, Nico, and welcome back to the Tuesday edition, the last one of the fall semester. It's been a little bit chilly today in the past couple days, and Nico was just showing those dew points being so low. Sabrina, has your day felt a little bit chilly, or do you like these temperatures?
You know, I can't say I am a big fan of these temperatures, but I am happy that I got to try on my new turtleneck, which I was sporting before I got here.
Yes, so beautiful.
I know. I think it's a good color.
So, also something to layer up with the FSU Weather t-shirt that everyone should have and needs to have, but t-shirt weather is leaving us. Tallahassee is entering its winter weather, and Nico, could you show us into the next couple days what winter weather we'll be seeing?
Yeah, of course, Genevieve. Today and actually for the next few days is going to be pretty average winter temperatures for Tallahassee. Currently, again, another beautiful look at Doak Campbell Stadium. I can't get enough of it. It was just absolutely gorgeous this sunset. 57 degrees, and it's going to be a great night for stargazing if you're into that. And slight breeze from the west at 5 miles per hour. So actually sublime conditions for tonight. And for current radar, like I said, there's going to be no clouds, no precipitation, beautiful stargazing conditions. If you guys want to go out tonight, tonight is the day to do it. And for current temperatures, most of the Big Bend region is going to be currently in the mid-50s to lower 50s, and temperatures should drop into the 40s as the night progresses. It's 56 in Perry currently, and here in Tallahassee and Mariana and Donaldsonville, we have the warmest temperatures at 57. As for our temperature almanac for today, as you can see, it was a pretty bang average day here in Tallahassee. The high was almost the average at 68, and the low was just a little bit cooler today than our average of 44. Definitely nowhere near those record warms of 82 or that record cold of 21 back in 1974. And for current dew points, currently it's actually pretty dry. Donaldsonville actually has a dew point of 39, and Tallahassee and most of the Big Bend region are in the mid-40s, but you should expect those dew points to start to drop as we go into tomorrow with this pretty dry frontal passage coming through, so that will be something to keep aware of in terms of fire weather. As for future satellite, we only have some clouds and mainly westerly flow as that front approaches us, and it's a dry frontal passage. There's not going to be any rain associated with it, but dew points will drop in the coming days, as well as temperatures and lower temperatures. As for tonight, temperatures are going to be 44 and slightly cloudy, possibly with those westerly flow clouds, and wind from the west-northwest at 4 miles per hour, so pretty calm winds for tonight. And it's pretty much the same story for the rest of the Big Bend region, just a little bit warmer down by the coast in Apalachicola at 50, Carbell at 49, St. Mark's at 49. As you go farther north, temperatures will slightly decrease, with Thomasonville having a low of 45. As for tomorrow, temperatures are going to be really mild, 60 and mostly sunny. The wind will slightly increase from the north at 11 miles per hour, but it's actually going to be beautiful conditions to finish off the semester. I'd say perfect time to go study for finals outside, actually. I think that's one of my favorite things to do when coming to finals week. And the rest of the Big Bend area, pretty much the same story, actually, just 1 or 2 degrees warmer or cooler down by the coast in Carbell at 60, a little bit farther north in Thomasville at 57, and Bainbridge at 58. As for the week ahead, pretty mild temperatures. The day to look forward is Wednesday night. It's going to be a low of 34, so maybe bring out the jackets for that day. How's it going to be looking for the rest of Florida?
Yeah, the rest of Florida is looking a little bit mild in the panhandle, as Nico was saying. But as we get more south, down in towards Miami, we do see temperatures start to get a little bit warmer, a little bit more wetter, a little bit more moist. I can see right here, taking a look at the live cam, 74, not bad for there in Miami. Sun's already down. Taking a look at Tampa as well, 64 degrees. So pretty nice temperatures this time of year. In Orlando, 65, and a little chilly. Panama City Beach, 56. Probably not the best time to be at the beach right now. But hey, if you like this weather, it's the perfect time for you. Taking a look at the temperatures across the state of Florida, as I was saying, pretty mild temperatures, especially up in the panhandle here, 57 in Jacksonville. As we start to work our way south, getting closer to the West Palm Beach, 73, especially down here in Key West and Miami, 77. So a little bit toasty for my liking this time of year down there in Miami and Key West, but for all the snowboards, I'm sure they're loving it. Taking a look at Miami, though, for the next couple of days, 73, we could see some clouds starting to roll through on Friday and starting to get some more warmer temperatures. It's going to be 78 on Friday for them there. Taking a look at Tampa, you're going to have a really nice day tomorrow, 63 degrees in Tampa. We will start to warm up, but thankfully no storms. You could have a pop-up shower possibly on Friday, but I wouldn't count on it. It's mostly cloudy, though. Taking a look at Orlando, if you're heading out up all the theme parks, Orlando, 64 tomorrow, beautiful day to do it. A little bit cloudy, so it would be nice when you're standing in those lines, you won't get too toasty as you get closer into the weekend. 72 on Thursday and 74 on Friday. And you don't have to worry about any rain if you're going there as well. Taking a look at Jacksonville, really nice temperatures. High of 59 there in Jacksonville tomorrow, 64 on Thursday and 69 on Friday. Really nice conditions. Taking a look over at Pensacola. 58 on Wednesday, a little chilly. And then as we get closer to the weekend, 66, you could see some storms starting to roll on through that Saturday and that Sunday as well in Pensacola. Take a look at our radar, though. We're, as of right now, we're very dry. You could see some scattered storms if you're going offshore fishing over there off the coast of Key West, but not much to worry about. Take a look at some of the cloud coverage. You see some clouds covering over 4 miles in the Naples area, so it's pretty nice keeping that sun out of the eyes. Taking a look at Central Florida and Orlando, Lake Wales, Palm Bay. Not really any rain to talk about, just some passing clouds or two. And here in Tallahassee and the Panhandle, yeah, we got a cloud or two, but no rain, thankfully. So we don't worry about bringing an umbrella or anything like that. Taking a look at the future, though, it's been pretty nice. Basically, we're not going to see any rain coming through. Could see a passing cloud, which would be really nice, especially as those temperatures down south start to warm back up. Taking a look at tonight, though, in Florida, 40 degrees in Pensacola and 38 in Jacksonville. And here in Tallahassee, we'll have 34 degrees. It'll be very chilly tonight, so make sure to pack, if you're going out, pack appropriately. Taking a look at tomorrow in Florida, it is going to get a little bit warmer throughout the day, through most of the state, and then but it will be cool down nicely again. So now we're going to go over to the southeast with Sabrina. Sabrina, how's the southeast looking?
Thank you, Jackson. We're going to look a little bit more into the southeast. We do see there's a little bit of cloud coverage all throughout basically the southeast region. However, in Charlotte, we can't see it right now, but there was a beautiful sunset earlier on in the day. But those temperatures are relatively in the 50s, and you can see that it's relatively dry, not much precipitation in the area, maybe a little bit higher up in Charlotte. But you do see that rain is accompanied by that low pressure system that just moved through and brought us some of that rain from this weekend. And overall, we do see that the flow comes from that high to the low, and we can kind of see that more with the winds that we'll see in the future and future graphics. But our temperatures are pretty good. Not much going on. Maybe a little bit chillier than what some people are comfortable. Speaking for myself, 59 in Tallahassee. However, down in Miami, we are seeing it is 77, which is a little bit more enjoyable personally. But overall, pretty comfortable temperatures. You might want to put on a jacket in case you are a little bit more sensitive to those lower temperatures. But for the wind, again, a slight breeze maybe down here in the south, but as you go a little bit more north into northern Alabama and Tennessee, the wind does start to pick up, 15 miles per hour in Memphis, 10 in Birmingham. So yeah, a little bit windy, nothing to worry about though. But as I mentioned earlier, you do see that flow continues to move from the west into the east as you see that precipitation is a little bit over into that Atlantic, but relatively dry as we look around the southeast region. Maybe a little bit of precipitation here in the Gulf, but overall pretty dry, just some cloud coverage. And that is backed up by our dew points. We see those dew points continue to be pretty low compared to the temperatures that we saw, which were in the 60s. In case you didn't know, those dew points, the lower the dew point and the greater difference between the actual temperature and the dew point, the drier the conditions are. And you can see that overall here in the southeast region, it is pretty dry. Down to Miami, however, as expected, it is always pretty, or generally pretty humid. So nothing new to see here. Now in Charlotte, as we move around and look at our key cities, we do see that those temperatures are around the 50s and start heating up a little bit as we go into Saturday. However, that low is in 42 here in Charlotte. And moving through to Nashville, again, kind of the same story. We do see that that rain kind of starts to move into the weekend with lower temperatures earlier on in the week. And here closer to home in Tampa, we see that there's not much rain that's going to be hitting here in Florida necessarily, but those temperatures do start rising as it comes into the weekend. And in NOLA, relatively the same story. We see that that precipitation and that rain starts moving in the weekend. However, not much going on, a pretty great weekend unless you are not a fan of the rain. But beggars can't be choosers. Let's move on into the national parks segment with Genevieve.
Absolutely, Sabrina. Now, our favorite environmentalist and song artist, musician, John Denver once sang, "Almost Heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah National Park." That's actually not the lyrics, but let's get into the beautiful national park that is home in Virginia, not too far from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. In fact, it is only 75 miles away. Check out that beautiful sunset and the flowers beneath. I would sure want to camp there. And something also that is so special to me is that it is part of 101 miles on the Appalachian Trail, which is something personally I've always been obsessed with. People who hike from Georgia to Maine and do it in about 6 to 9 months, and it's really inspiring and beautiful. And of course, it is comprised primarily of the Blue Ridge Mountains across the Appalachian mountain range, formed from 300 to 500 million years ago, so a lot of cool geology being formed as it lies on a thrust belt with lots of folds and formations going on, so really cool and really beautiful to see the history literally right there, as you see behind me. The high for today was 47, low dropped just below freezing at 31, luckily not 16 degrees as it was in 1935, but rain and snow is in your forecast at 35 degrees, so try to stay inside. If you are camping, hopefully you have that rain fly over top of your tent. Those 40 degrees are going to stay throughout the region, and those dew points, as Sabrina was talking about, are relatively dry across the southeast and going up towards the mid-Atlantic states as well. So really dry, chapstick, lotion conditions in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And that current satellite and radar will show the rain and snow drifting eastward as the storms cross. And that snow will continue. The snow is the little pink and blue and white spots on the radar, along with clouds following it. So snow in the picture, but it is wintertime. So that 4-day forecast will show those lows dipping right below freezing as we see those really snowy conditions. But football has been something on our minds for the past couple of days. Nico, Jackson, how are you guys feeling?
You know, Florida State football this past weekend, we had a lot of ups and downs, a little sore subject. Before we dive into the intricacies and technicalities of it all, I think it's very important that we recognize the players and the coaches and everyone on part of that staff. Coach Norvell turned this team around the past couple of years, and they did a phenomenal job, no matter the outcome of this year's season.
Yeah, so on Saturday night, we ended up going undefeated and winning the ACC championship. And the following morning, the CFP committee released their rankings for the college football playoff, and this is what you see right here. Michigan was seeded number 1 in the college football playoff, followed by Washington at number 2, who plays Texas, ranked number 3. And then that number 4 spot was that point of contention, which was, I think, should have been Florida State, but the committee went with Alabama.
Yep, I think a lot of people thought it should have been Florida State, should have been Georgia. I mean, how do you leave out a undefeated ACC championship? And one of their main points of talking points, the committee said it was because of the injury of Jordan Travis. He was such a key and pivotal role in this team that after the loss of him, it just really, the Florida State Seminoles offense was struggling a little bit. But I mean, if he's so important, why do you think he's the Heisman winner this year?
I definitely think he should have been Heisman winner. He he's honestly a Florida State Seminole legend. There's going to be no other player like him, what he did for this program. He took this program from the lowest of the low to literally ACC champions, and it was a shame to see him go that way, but he really was the leader for this team, and part of that reason for why we actually ended up going undefeated.
Exactly. He's going to do some really great things in the NFL for sure.
Oh, I hope so, for sure. And here we're taking a look at comparing Georgia and Alabama and Florida State's strength of schedule, strength of record, and as you can see, we're the only undefeated team on that list right there.
And that's why our strength of record rank is the third best, because we're the third undefeated team in the entire college football playoff.
Yeah, and they want to put the best teams in the playoff, and I think if you're the best, you shouldn't lose, which I don't know how they can justify putting Alabama over us.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of different ways it could have gone. The committee feels like they put the 4 best teams in, and just taking a look at this, what Jordan Travis said is just heartbreaking. In his tweet, he said he was devastated, heartbroken, so much disbelief right now. He's helped this team so much, and he shouldn't be sorry for anything. You can't control what happens throughout the game, that game in Northern Alabama, and he will, like Nico was saying, will go down forever as a Florida State Seminole legend. And
we're going to leave you with this happy moment of us lifting the ACC title for the first time since 2014, and honestly, it was a whole team effort. That was just an incredible year. I enjoyed every single part of it, and I hope to repeat it next year because we have more going on for the Florida State football. Oh, yeah. Now, over to Genevieve for National.
Yeah, Nico, you are so right. There's always bigger things to come, and this year was absolutely incredible, especially I know most of us in the room here are seniors, so it's really nice to have that championship win under us. But now let's check out what the rest of the country is feeling other than FSU. We've talked about us enough. Never enough, really. And let's see the weather across the country. I know up in Washington State, they are seeing quite a bit of rain and snow as a storm system is moving across, and we'll look at that just in a bit. Boulder, Colorado, beautiful mountains in the back, absolutely stunning. And Boston, Detroit, looking quite dark and very gray. Sun has set. As for the current temperatures right now, Los Angeles always looking beautiful and sunny at 72 degrees, and Miami as well being our hot spot at 77 degrees. But if you look up towards the northern part of the country, that's where you get into those 20-degree marks and the low 30-degree marks. And those dew points, as Sabrina was talking about earlier, really, really dry. These are the chapstick conditions, and the dew points being so different from our actual temperatures, so much lower than the current temperatures, shows us how dry it really is because the humidity is so low. So this is the time where your hair is actually not going to freeze, but your skin is going to dry out and your lips are going to chap. But current radar shows that storm system up in the Pacific Northwest, covering Portland and into Seattle, as well as by the Great Lakes over by Michigan. Rainfall forecast, we'll see that storm system build up rain, especially across the coast, as well as rain really sporadically put throughout the country with a concentration into the northeast, of course, and surrounding the Great Lakes. And with those storm systems, luckily, they haven't been too severe. We actually have no severe storm predictions for today. Tomorrow, those chances will increase, but only to a non-severe level up onto the coast of the Pacific Northwest. And those conditions will just roll out into the ocean, giving the coastal cities even less of a non-severe chance of severe storms. And our temperature outlook, the red marks the above temperatures, above average temperatures, and the bluer we get marks the cooler than below temperatures. So that red is out into California, and we are pretty gray, pretty average for majority of the country, with the exception, of course, in Florida. Tonight's temperatures, we're seeing those 30s and 40s for majority of the country, and tomorrow's temperatures, another relatively nice day. But the drought, is there a drought occurring throughout the country, Nico?
The drought that we're going to be taking a look at is the one that we've been talking about for the last, it feels like several months, and that is the drought in the Mid-South. And currently there's an exceptional drought. I think I may have skipped it. Yeah, there we go. There's currently an exceptional drought over much of the Mississippi River Delta and part of that Mississippi River Valley going up from New Orleans all the way up through Memphis. That's the main area of concern, and of course also farther west near Albuquerque and El Paso. So this whole region has been under a pretty severe drought for the last several months, and current temperatures for the region are in the mid 60s to upper 60s, but the main thing to look at is actually the dew points. So you can see dew points are in the 20s and 30s for most of the region and are expected to drop in the next couple days with that frontal passage. So that's going to keep conditions very, very dry, and that is very significant for fire weather. With these dry conditions, the risk of fire weather in this region and with this drought is going to exacerbate these conditions, and if there is a fire to start, it could be very, very dangerous. As for current radar, there's not really any precipitation associated with this front. As you can see, the low pressure system that's associated with the front over Kentucky, but most of that mid-south region is going to stay very, very dry, and it's just going to continue that drought. Even though we did see rain these past couple weekends, some areas here in the Gulf Coast saw over 5 inches of precipitation last weekend, but that really didn't do much to alleviate this drought. So these conditions are going to continue. And in the future satellite, none of that rain, just have some cloud cover coming from that westerly flow, but that drought is going to continue on into the foreseeable future. And as for that rainfall forecast, again, no rain in sight. So what to do during a drought? Follow, in the famous words of Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent forest fires. So remember to conserve water, practice fire prevention, and follow all directions from local officials. So how's it going with lifestyle here in Tallahassee, Sabrina?
Yeah, thank you, Nico. Let's talk about it. Honestly, we see that the sun has already set, so unless you're a night owl like myself, there's not much to do in the area, but we do see a beautiful sunset coming in from Panama City, almost a purple hue, so really nice to look out. But we're going to be talking about some airport delays. Here in Tallahassee, honestly, if you're traveling today, you're good to go. We see that green airplane, which means that no delays as far as we know with those temperatures at 57 degrees. So pretty pleasant, not too chilly. But as we kind of look more so around the country, we see that there are some delays here in Orlando with some temperatures at 65 degrees. So be mindful of that if you're traveling out of Orlando. But overall, nothing to worry about in case you are traveling. But people with allergies are celebrating everywhere as our pollen reports are low with grass, weeds, and trees all low. I know my sinuses are thankful. So if you are an allergy person like myself, take time, enjoy the outdoors now that the pollen count is low. But if you are trying to walk your furry friends, the temperatures are pretty chilly, but honestly, nothing really too crazy. We see at 7 a.m. it's going to be 45, so maybe a little bit colder, but it is going to heat up more so or later in the morning to 53 degrees. So really good temperatures. Maybe put on a jacket. Your furry friends will be thanking you for that walk. But for our sports in the area, if we look at our Lady Seminoles, they are going to be playing Jacksonville here at the Tucker Center on Thursday at 11 a.m. Great day for a game, 63 degrees, mostly sunny. Really excited for our ladies to be playing. I know we've been having a really good season. As for our men's, it's going to be in Sunrise, Florida, so a little bit more down south. We see those temperatures are slightly higher at 81 degrees, and that is going to be this Saturday at 1:30. So go out and support our Seminoles if you are in the area. But we're going to change a little bit more into the beach cam. This is at Shell Point Beach, Florida. It is a little dark, so not much to see, but those temperatures are at 72 degrees right now. So honestly, if you're trying to go out there, it's pretty pleasant conditions at 6 miles per hour from the south. So if you're trying to get some stargazing out there, pretty good conditions. And speaking of the beach, temperatures are going to be pretty low in the morning, so unless that's what you're looking for, maybe the beach is not the best idea, but there are going to be some cloud coverage, so keep that in mind. Maybe not the best time to get a tan. And for our Sportsplex, for any of us playing IM Sports, pretty good temperatures, a little bit windy, but nothing to worry about, just a bit of cloud coverage. But as we move into the week, not much really going on. Pretty good temperatures, maybe getting a little bit warmer into the weekend. However, not much to worry about. So we're going to move on to our local with Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Sabrina. Yeah, our temperatures really have been back and forth recently. And it's just, I know for me personally, I really just wanted to pick a side, stay cold or stay hot. But unfortunately, that's not the case. We will be warming back up later this week. Taking a look at Drought Stadium right now, 57 degrees and clear skies. It's going to be a beautiful night. If you're going to go stargazing here in Tallahassee, go out on Landis Green, as Sabrina was saying. Beautiful night to do that here in Tallahassee. And taking a look at the current local radar, not seeing much rain. As we've been talking about pretty much all shows, feels like we're very dry, especially here in the southeast and in the panhandle. So make sure to be aware of that if you're doing any fires tonight. If you're going to put any marshmallows over the campfire, just make sure that fire is out before you go to sleep tonight. Then taking a look at the current temperatures across our region. 57 here in Tallahassee. As we get more north into South Georgia, we see Thomasville hitting 54, 56 in Donaldsonville, and as we get closer to the coast, Apalachicola 55. So fairly pleasant conditions out right now. Taking a look at those dew points, super dry conditions. I know I've been having to use my chapstick, use my Carmex daily. It's a necessity, so make sure you have it on you if you're going to be going out tonight and throughout the rest of this week. Taking a look at the future satellite and radar, you could see a passing cloud or two. Thankfully, no rain, but I know some of us are hoping for that rain, and it is coming. It's coming this weekend, and we'll see that in our week ahead. Taking a look at tonight, though, 44 degrees, partly cloudy, so that could interrupt any stargazing you got going on, but beautiful night. Otherwise, we're going to go out, start studying for finals coming up next week. Just make sure to bring a jacket, especially in Strohs. It gets cold in there, and outside it'll be even colder. Taking a look at tonight, though, across the panhandle. Pretty chilly temperatures, especially when you get up to Thomasville, 45. But as you travel a little bit more south towards Apalachicola, 50 degrees, so it won't cool down as much right there on the coast. And taking a look at tomorrow over here on campus, a nice 60 degrees and a little windy too, as well as that frontal system starts making its way on through, and it's really going to bring some of those colder temperatures for our area. Taking a look at tomorrow, though, 60 degrees pretty much all across the board. You could see a little bit chillier up here in Thomasville, 57 degrees there. Then taking a look at the week ahead. As we get that rain, 80% chance on Sunday, so that could put a damper on any plans you got to watch some NFL games coming up as we get towards the end of that season. But, the rest of the week's looking really nice, 60s, 70s, and then as we get into next week, 58, and starting to get a little more chillier at night. So now, Sabrina and Genevieve, how y'all liking this colder weather?
I lean a little more towards the warmer temperatures being from Miami, but it just feels right that finals, we have a little bit chillier. You walk to the library and you're like, you just feel it in you that it's coming.
Honestly, but the colder temperatures do kind of put me in that winter, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, spirit. So honestly, it's pretty great conditions. I'm pretty happy, just a little chilly.
Yes, and we are lucky that these conditions are really nice here in Tallahassee, not raining or snowing like in Seattle, for instance. But follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
And watch us live on YouTube. I'm sure that's what you're watching us if you're watching us on right now. And do not forget to follow us on Instagram. We do post Reels and TikTok sometimes.
Yes, and YouTube, of course, as you're watching us right now. But I'm student meteorologist Genevieve Rejak.
And I'm student meteorologist Sabrina Uribe. Thank you for watching.